There is a place in India that the government does not want you to think about. Not because it is dangerous, not because it is classified, but because what has been seen there cannot be explained, and the people who saw it were removed from existence. This is the Kongka La Pass, and this is the story they never wanted told. Kongka La is a high-altitude mountain pass sitting at over 17,000 feet in the Aksai Chin region, a frozen, desolate stretch of land that both India and China claim as their own. Since 1962, following the Indochina War, both nations agreed, without any formal treaty, to maintain a no-patrol zone in this specific area. Think about that for a moment. Two of the most militarily aggressive nations in Asia, two countries that have fought wars over this exact land, both agreed to leave this one valley completely alone. No soldiers, no surveillance, no patrols. The official reason? Terrain too difficult. But soldiers who have operated in far more dangerous conditions on the Siachen Glacier never stopped patrolling there. So, why here? Why this specific valley? The locals who live in the nearest villages, the Changpa nomads, have an answer. They call it the valley where the sky opens. They have called it that for generations, long before any government told them to stay away. In 2004, something changed. Multiple tourists trekking near the Pangong Lake region, which sits adjacent to the Kongka La zone, reported seeing structured, luminous craft rising vertically from inside the valley. Not falling, not passing through, rising from within the mountain itself. These were not lights on the horizon. These were objects with defined geometry, cylindrical, silent, moving at speeds that made the surrounding stars look stationary by comparison. The reports were filed, they were acknowledged by local authorities, and then they were quietly buried. But here is where the story stops being about UFOs and starts being about people. A former ITBP officer, the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, the unit responsible for high-altitude Himalayan surveillance, gave a statement in a regional Ladakhi publication in 2006. He did not give his full name. He said that during a routine elevation monitoring exercise near the Kongka La boundary in late 2003, his unit of 6 men observed a large luminous object hovering at approximately 300 meters altitude directly above the restricted valley. The object did not move for 47 minutes. They documented it, they reported it through official channels. 3 weeks later, 2 members of that unit were transferred, not reassigned, transferred in a way that left no forwarding record. When their families attempted to contact the regiment, they were told those soldiers had never been posted to that region. Their service records showed a different location entirely. 2 men, documented postings, witnessed by an entire unit, erased. The officer who gave this statement disappeared from public record shortly after the article was published. The publication itself shut down within a year. In 2006, a group of researchers attempted to cross-reference Indian Army postings in the Aksai Chin region using RTI, Right to Information, requests. For most border regions, partial records are released. For Kongka La specifically, every single RTI request received the same response. Information pertaining to this region is exempt under Section 8 of the RTI Act on grounds of national security. Every request, without exception. Now, border regions being classified is not unusual, but researchers noted something specific. The exemption applied not just to operational details, it applied to basic geographical survey records, weather station logs, even historical census data from villages that once existed near the valley. Villages that local oral history confirms existed. Villages that official government records say were never there. Entire communities, not destroyed, not relocated with documentation, simply unmapped. What makes Kongka La different from every other UFO conspiracy theory is this. China is doing the same thing on their side. PLA, soldiers posted near the Chinese boundary of Kongka La, have reported, through defector testimonies collected by Taiwanese intelligence researchers, identical phenomena, vertical rising craft, geometric, silent, and identical responses from their government, transfers, record erasures. Families told their soldiers were never there. 2 governments, 2 militaries, two completely separate intelligence apparatuses, both erasing the same people. When your enemy is hiding the same secret as you, it is no longer a state secret. It is something else entirely. The Changpa nomads have an oral tradition passed down across centuries. They describe beings, not demons, not gods, beings that live beneath the mountain. They describe them as neither hostile nor friendly. They describe lights that have emerged from the valley floor for as long as their oldest stories reach back, centuries before any government existed to classify anything, centuries before India and China were nations. The valley was already forbidden then, not by law, by understanding. The Changpa never entered it, not because they were told not to, but because their ancestors had learned, at some cost we can only imagine, that some places are not meant for human eyes. Here is what we know with certainty. Kongka La is the only region on the India-China border with a mutually observed no-patrol zone that has never been formally documented in any bilateral agreement. It exists in a legal and military gray zone that neither government will explain. Multiple independent witnesses across decades have reported identical phenomena from the valley. Soldiers from both nations have been erased from official records after reporting what they saw. And the people who have lived closest to this land for the longest time built their entire understanding of the world around the knowledge that something beneath that valley is not ours. I want to leave you with one final detail. In 2021, a satellite imaging researcher was cross-referencing historical Google Earth imagery of the Aksai Chin region. He noticed something in imagery from 2009, a thermal anomaly, rising from the center of the Kongka La Valley floor. No surface structure, no known geological explanation. He posted his findings to 3 separate research forums. All 3 posts were removed within 48 hours. His account on one platform was permanently suspended. His reason given? Coordinated inauthentic behavior. He had posted alone from one account on 3 different platforms. The valley is still there. The no patrol zone still holds. And whatever is beneath that mountain has been there far longer than either nation that now claims to own the sky above it.